Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Hobbs Lady Eagles Soccer from Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports from Watson Stadium this evening. We have got a top 10 New Mexico 5A battle as the top-ranked and undefeated Hobbs Lady Eagles take on the 5-2 10th-ranked Oregon Mountain Lady Knights. I'm TJ Miracle alongside Dawn Morgan. Thanks for being with us on a sunny, warm evening. Of course, we will go ahead and apologize in advance for at least till the sun goes down because they built this stadium backwards and the sun is coming right into our eyes for this one.
And into the camera, even.
And into the camera, which is...
The camera, that's the first consideration there. So, yeah, it's difficult for us to see, but it's also difficult. Sometimes you're going to get a whiteout on the camera. And, we'll do the best. I'll do the best I can to try to avoid the sun and to do that, but it's going to be a little hard.
Yeah, it's a little bit iffy at times with that. So we'll continue to do that as we come into this one. As we mentioned, the Hobbs Lady Eagles under head coach Mackenzie Tellez, number one right now and undefeated in the state. And they are averaging right at 2 goals per game and giving up less than half a goal in their matches thus far. On the other side, Oregon Mountain has had some offensive explosions. They're averaging over 3 goals per game, right at 3.5 in their 7 games, and they're giving up about a little less than half a goal a game too. So should be a good battle here tonight between these two squads. So if you're just joining us, thanks for being here. The JV earlier this evening, the Hobbs JV falling to Oregon Mountain's JV by a final score of 3-2. As the officials have come out onto the pitch as we prepare for that one, we're going to be looking at about 87 degrees at kick time here at Watson Stadium as we just get ready for this. Of course, don't forget tomorrow night we will be right back here. Well, the Hobbs Sports Crews will be right back here as the Hobbs football team will be taking on El Paso Parkland. That'll be at 7 o'clock tomorrow night on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel, HobbsAmerica.com, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. So the teams are meeting up in their respective huddles. It looks like Oregon Mountain is going to be in their road whites with the turquoise, the dark turquoise letters and numbers for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. I can see through the kind of questionable glass here. They're going to be in the home black unis with the white letters and numbers and gold trim on those Lady Eagles uniforms. So just looking forward to what should be an exciting match tonight to really help move forward into district, which will be starting off here in just a couple of weeks. Of course, last time the Hobbs Lady Eagles were out on the pitch, they got a big victory as they took on and defeated the Las Cruces Lady Bulldogs. An exciting match in that one as they got the victory 2-1 in overtime.
And I have noticed that throughout much of their season, which has been so successful, I mean, they are just romping and stomping through the season so far. But a lot of their scoring has come from their forwards, their 2 big forwards and midfielders, and those are Carly Rivera and Brianna Baker. So they have been responsible for a lot of the goal scoring, not all, but a lot of the offensive production that the Lady Eagles are capable of. And, of course, goaltending, goalkeeping by Sabrina Marcus and Lily Cortez.
All right, and looks like Sabrina Marcus will be getting the start in the cage tonight for the Lady Eagles. Araceli Tristi Martinez getting the start for Oregon Mountain in the cage tonight. So the two teams are out there and probably the national anthem, so we'll take a timeout and be back. Hobbs Lady Eagle Soccer continues in a moment. And welcome back to Hobbs Lady Eagles Soccer from New Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports here on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel, HobbsAmerica.com, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. With Dawn Morgan, I'm TJ Miracle. Starting lineups have just been announced, and the starting 11 for Oregon Mountain in the cage, it'll be Araceli Triste Martinez. The rest of the starting lineup, Corey Judd, Areli Garcia, Adonica Cedillo, Camilla Falcone, Giselle Turnbow, Cambria Floyd, Araya Vasquez, Claire Amundson, Ariana Fuentes, and Annalie Loera. For the Hobbs Lady Eagles, in the starting keeper tonight will be Sabrina Marquez, and in the field it'll be Trinity Vasquez, Brianna Baker, Aurelie Rivera, Brooke Davis, Mariah Zambrano, Racia Hernandez, Cambria Rutledge, Mariah Jimenez, Natalie Silva, and Nevaeh Nash. So you'll just kind of have to bear with us while we are dealing with the sun. It is going to be almost impossible to see for probably the first 45 minutes. So we'll just do the best that we can with picking out who's got the ball and the camera. Yeah, it's going to have some problems. Cameras and open apertures do not like direct sunlight. But since the stadium, and I know a number of years ago they talked about flipping the stadium,
Right.
putting the home side on the other side to where you weren't looking into the sun
Right.
in the evening time. But
Almost no,
hadn't happened yet.
almost no others. I mean, no other major stadium that I can think of actually has the home stands facing the west. You know?
Yeah, it's a little bit odd. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not unheard of. It's just
Right.
a little bit odd.
It's just it's more likely that it's the other way around for good reason, for just this reason, because yes, a lot of football games take place in the evening, but a lot of them start in the afternoon, and a lot of other sports are played on the field as well. So on the track and on the field like this, it becomes a soccer pitch.
Yes, it does. So Hobbs in the black kit to start things off, and Oregon Mountain in the white kit. And Hobbs controls. They get the kickoff as we play around midfield. The two teams just kind of dribbling it around, looking for a little space into the middle of the field where Vasquez will control it. Tries a centering pass, picked off by Hobbs and bounced back out towards midfield where Hobbs and Oregon Mountain will go at it once again, trying to feed it forward. Hobbs takes it and will just feed it back to one of the defenders, now trying to get a run on, and it's just going to be kicked to the sideline and out by one of the Oregon Mountain defenders. That was Nash who threw it in, but threw it over the head of her intended target, Rutledge. But Hobbs will get control back momentarily before Oregon Mountain does it. Hobbs keeping very tight defense on these Lady Knights as Vasquez trying to find some room on the near side, loses it. Hobbs is attacking the south goal, Oregon Mountain the north goal here in this first half of play. 2 40-minute halves with a 10-minute intermission, overtime as needed, and a little bit of extra time here and there. Oregon Mountain from the far side tries to kick it into the middle of the field, and it goes off the back of Vasquez, where Hobbs will come back and try and take control. Pretty good battle going on, as Oregon Mountain will win the battle, but coming over to get it is Nash, and she'll get it out of harm's way. So far in the early minute and a half of this one, neither team with a lot of sustained pressure deep in the other team's zone. Is Nash just a little forward pass and then a bouncing ball that'll be kicked out by Oregon Mountain, and Nash will collect the ball in front of the home stands, which here at Watson Stadium, they do not open for the soccer matches for fans. Everybody's sitting over on the visitor side, which with the sun like it is probably a good thing.
Yeah, lucky them.
As off the inbound, Oregon Mountain will send it deep. Hobbs crashes back, but an Oregon Mountain player on the far side, Nash, will get to it and boot it out, and it'll go out, and it'll give a throw-in for Oregon Mountain on the far side in front of the Hobbs bench. But Hobbs will take it away and then just boot it back where one of the Oregon Mountain defenders will take it. And both teams going to look to get a break or an odd woman rush, as it were, off of the wings if they can. Both teams' defense is very stout, giving up less than half a goal per contest. Could come down to who makes the fewest mistakes. And then just a little skittering pass that'll go off of the foot of a Lady Eagle, and it will go back over to the Lady Knights. 2 minutes have expired in this one. No score between the top-ranked Hobbs Lady Eagles and the number 10 Organ Mountain Lady Knights.
Pressure really on the Lady Eagles coming in. They are trying to preserve, even though district has not started, right? They're trying to preserve a perfect season. And, of course, the big target on their backs with that number 1 ranking, that's, can lead to a lot of pressure in these matches.
Well, when that happens, you're always going to get the other team's best match. You can pretty much bet on that. As Fuentes starts the ball forward, it'll be a bouncing ball that'll get past everybody. Hobbs will go back for it, and coming out of the cage to pick it up will be Sabrina Marquez. Try and settle things down for the Lady Eagles. Neither team with the shot on goal yet, as Marquez will send it back out into the midfield. And Hobbs right now and Organ Mountain just kind of playing keep away with each other. Neither team able to get a lot of sustained pressure going, and a bad pass as Brooke Davis trying to get one of her teammates coming up the right wing and just too far out in front of her and out of bounds. So the throw in for Organ Mountain. Hobbs will take it though off the throw in and then kick it right back out.
Yeah, we've spent almost this entire match, which is very young, in the midfield, between the 30-yard lines basically, just kind of back and forth. And we'll see who breaks and breaks for it and manages to organize an offense and maybe get a little aggressive first.
Both teams, again, yeah, you mentioned not really real aggressive as of yet. Hobbs works it on the near sideline. Back to Nash under pressure. Centering pass taken away by Organ Mountain. They'll just bounce it forward, trying to get a runner out, and coming out of the cage once again just to settle it down will be Marquez.
Organ Mountain has penetrated deeper against Hobbs than Hobbs has against Organ Mountain so far in this match. Of course, it just takes the one good, you can kind of test the waters all you want to, and it just takes the one successful roll into the net.
Yes, it does, as Hobbs will have their deepest penetration, but then it'll go out and should be Organ Mountain ball. It will be, as they will throw it in with Amundsen, who bounces it over, goes off of a Hobbs Lady Eagle, and Amundsen to toss it in again. From the 40-yard mark, that is the 30-yard line on the football field, that's going to be Falcone who throws it in. But then a whistle sounds, goes out, and Hobbs will get the throw in back out. 6 minutes have expired here in this first half of play. Is Organ Mountain on a little bit of an attack run here, trying to get it over and off the side of the foot and wide of the cage. As that was Vasquez who sent it wide. Still no shots on goal. As that one, Marquez didn't even have to leave the goalie box to go out and try and stop that one. So now Hobbs will go back and set up and just see if they can get something moving. And so far, what pressure there has been applied by Organ Mountain. Right now, Organ Mountain just doing a better job taking away the passing lanes and clogging things up and getting the bounces off of the passes.
Controlling possession, yeah.
And onto the near sideline and out. Should be Hobbs' ball. Again, just deep in their own zone. As we click to the 33-minute mark of the first half. Still no score in this one as of yet. Hobbs Lady Eagles taking on the Lady Knights of Organ Mountain. There's a little bit of a stoppage in play here. Again, forgive us if we miss stuff because we've got the sun and the glare of the glass and everything else, and a little hard to pick up some things. So Hobbs on the throw-in, tossing it forward, but right onto the foot of Organ Mountain. Hobbs tries to get to it, but it'll go out in front of the Organ Mountain bench. Of course, Organ Mountain, long time known as Oñate, there in Las Cruces, in northern Las Cruces, northeastern Las Cruces, on the Alamogordo Highway, if you care. As to the near side. Nash battles with Turnbow. And then out as Hobbs. Right now, a lot of times are just trying to boot it away and slow that pressure down. You've got to think at some point they're going to shake free and start their attack.
I think they may just be letting Oñate, Oregon Mountain again. That's old habits.
Old habits die hard.
Set the pace and just try to let them expend a lot of energy and wear themselves down. And Hobbs just putting up good defense and trying to keep them out of the zone.
And it is a very warm afternoon here. Not as warm down there, I would venture to bet, but. And, of course, you do have the shadows coming across the field, too, and that can sometimes play with perception as it's out to the far hash marks now. So as the ball goes in and out of the sunlight, it could change some things. We will have a whistle and a minor infraction called on the Lady Eagles. It'll be Oñate with the free kick out around the 30-yard line. And we do have an Oñate player down on the far sideline. Looks like she's up and okay. So we click down to 10 minutes expired here in the first. And they're just checking things over. I'm sure there's no blood, but they will call over the training staff, looks like. So while we've got a moment, a big thank you to all the good folks and all the good sponsors who make Hobbs Eagle Sports possible here on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel and HobbsAmerica.com. You see them there at the bottom of your screen. We appreciate all of them. And Friday night, Hobbs football will be out on the field. Ty friend Ron Gunter as Hobbs continues their season. They look to get back to 500 against the El Paso Parkland. I think they're the Matadors. I'll have to double check that. And you and I will be up in Lovington on Friday night. Lovington Sports YouTube as on the set plate comes in and into the hands of Sabrina Marquez. She will make her first save of the evening on that long sent in by Brooke Davis. So the first shot officially on goal comes with 11 minutes expired in the first. And now are they going to say a penalty shot? What are they doing as everybody drops back? Oh, they're going to say a corner kick. For Oregon Mountain. So corner kick from that northwest corner. Set play. And the kick bending towards the net and over the head of everybody. And will come all the way across the pitch and out and back to Hobbs. So the Lady Eagles getting a bit of a break there. And on the throw-in, off of the head of one of Oregon Mountain's players as they continue to put on the extreme pressure. And then it'll come out on the near side off of Oregon Mountain. As Villanueva, who just checked in, unable to handle that. That she'll body it up and then send a centering pass into the middle of the field where Hobbs will try and take it away. Hobbs playing deep in their own zone for much of the last 4 or 5 minutes. Oregon Mountain has definitely put on the early pressure. Hobbs still no shots.
They have, but Hobbs does not look uncomfortable, playing deep in their own zone. I will say that.
And all the way down the far sideline, Oregon Mountain will just have to throw it away. We had a foot race over on the far side. So Hobbs to toss it in and try and get a little offense going themselves. And off of the throw in, headed by Oregon Mountain into the middle and then out of the back of the end zone. And over to Oregon Mountain for a free kick.
Yeah, Hobbs has looked extremely they've looked comfortable in this match from the very beginning. They've looked confident, and they've looked like they do not look worried or jittery. They seem pretty steady and even so far.
as the ball will come bouncing back towards the midfield. Then Hobbs will send it down deep into the Oregon Mountain zone, trying to put a little pressure on, coming to the near side. Hobbs tries to save it. On the inbound, they will. That is going to be Baker. Baker looking for the centering pass, and it goes in. It's an own goal, as Baker going to get credit for the goal at 13-22, but that actually went off the heels of Villanueva. But Hobbs will take the early 1-0 lead on Brianna Baker.
And we mentioned, before the match started that most of the scoring thus far by the Lady Eagles being done by those two very capable forwards, forward midfielders, Brianna Baker and Carly Rivera. Not the only capable girls on this Hobbs team. It takes a full team to go 7-0 even this early in the season.
And so Hobbs up early 1-0 on Brianna Baker's goal. Then they'll take away the kickoff, and Soto, who just checked into the ball game, she battles on the far side and slips down as the turf monster gets her. And back over to Oregon Mountain. Back to Nash. She'll take it off of her foot and send it further in. Going to be bodied up as Hobbs waits with Baker for a little reinforcement. She'll send it long across the pitch and trying to get a streaking Hernandez, but just too far, and it'll go out. Hobbs all of a sudden has picked up the intensity just a bit.
They've picked up the pace as well. As soon as they got down, into that scoring zone, they really picked up the pace and have been trying to, get possession and own possession of that ball.
As the ball will go out in the midfield, it'll be Hobbs' ball on the throw-in. As looking for some room to run is Rivera. Rivera sends it towards the middle, but it's taken away by Oregon Mountain. And back out to the midfield. Now Oregon Mountain looking for some room to run as Hobbs will just send it back down the pitch. Playing on the Oregon Mountain side of the center line now. Into the middle, Nash battles with Villanueva. And the ball stopped by Nash before it goes out. Villanueva blocks it. That couldn't have felt real good. And Nash will send it bouncing onto the other side of the field. Well, Hobbs will try and corral that with Hernandez. And it'll go out right at midfield and over to the Lady Knights. 1-0 Hobbs in the lead. 15 minutes gone here in the first. As Oregon Mountain trying to even the tally. They'll come near side, send a bouncing ball over. Hobbs, and Nash takes it away, and then she'll scoot it out to one of her running mates back out near midfield where it's stolen away by Villanueva. They'll send a bouncing ball over to the near sideline. Nash back to guard against it, and she'll just send it out. And it'll be an Oregon Mountain throw-in from about the 15-yard mark. That's about the 5-yard line. As that'll be Falcone. She'll toss it in as heads knock, and it comes back to the near side. Falcone just sends it high up, and Hobbs will bounce it up off the head and out. So Falcone going to get some more pressure. That's Falcone, number 8. Falcone will send it in, and then a header towards the middle. Hobbs will just kick it out, and now looking for some room to run a collision out around the 20-yard line. And swatting it near side and out. It'll be Hobbs on the throw-in. Pardon me, I'm getting tangled up here.
Cords on the floor.
Cords on the floor and rolling chairs. They don't get along too good.
Well, this the room where we are.
And the room tilts.
It tilts back toward, it's lower at the back near the door and into the hall. So.
No wonder I'm always so wore out when we do a game here, because I'm always trying to keep my chair up somewhere in there.
It's effort just
always
to
leaning forward.
Yeah, just to try to stand up straight and keep from falling back. Keep your chair from rolling back.
Oregon Mountain on the throw-in. And we'll just roll out to the big H at the center of the field. Oregon Mountain will take it back over with Loera. And I am having a heck seeing through the glass.
Yeah, the sun's in my eyes.
And
I'm just
mine too,
doing good to
so.
keep the camera pointed where the ball is and the players are. So.
And as the sun goes down, things will get better. The shadows out. Almost to midfield now. Back to Oregon Mountain for the throw-in at midfield. Oregon Mountain attacking the north goal. As they'll throw it in, but Hobbs will body it back where Oregon Mountain will take it and then send it deep into the Hobbs side. Bouncing ball. And out to collect it is Marquez. Hobbs only one shot on goal, but it found the back of the net.
It's pretty efficient.
That is very efficient.
One for one.
Oregon Mountain with just 2 shots on goal.
And Hobbs' defense is so strong. I really think that they just don't worry so much about the Oregon Mountain attack, and as they just try to contain them, and I think they're just letting Oregon Mountain kind of expend a lot of energy and trying to make the most of their offensive attack, and they certainly did with 1 shot, 1 goal.
Whistle sounds, minor foul. And I think Hobbs got the worst of it, and Oregon Mountain going to get the free kick, so they'll set up the free ball as kicking it away will be Vasquez. Going to try and knot this one up with 21 minutes remaining here in the first. Vasquez surveys the field, and she will send it high towards the goal and over everything and everybody. Vasquez with the shot on goal, leaping up and maybe getting a hand on it, Sabrina Marquez. So if she touched it, it becomes a shot. And I think maybe she did.
And that's why your line is where it is. You've got, your girls lined up right there to force the kicker to loft the ball up. And because with that loft, it makes it more difficult to find the back of the net and more likely that it's going to go over just like that one did.
As Marquez will send it out. Is back out into the middle of the pitch. Oregon Mountain off of the foot of Falcone and out. So back to the Lady Eagles at midfield. Looks like Nash to throw it in. So we hit the halfway mark of the first half. Nash on the throw in, headed around and playing out near the hash mark. Oregon Mountain takes it back into their defensive line to send it back forward. Kind of a oopsie kick, but Hobbs trying to come away with it, intercepted momentarily, then give it right back, and then Hobbs will boot it out.
I think the quality, I don't have anything to back this up, but I think the quality of soccer, both men's and women's, tends to go up during, seasons, years where when the Olympics are going on, when the summer games are going on. And I think I think it's just because, you're inspired. If you like soccer, you're watching more soccer, you're paying attention to our excellent men's and women's teams particularly, and gold medal winning teams, and not necessarily this year, both of them, but I think that it helps inspire younger players who are watching and helps them, they see and learn from watching. Plus, I think it just inspires them to be better and to up their game.
Would not argue with that assessment. And off the Hobbs throw in, Oregon Mountain winds up with it back, coming to the near side, trying to split 2 Eagles. Hobbs will steal it away on the far side, back towards the middle of the pitch. As trying to get a breakaway going is Oregon Mountain as they'll come down the near side. That one rolls, and will go out the back, and it'll be a free kick for Hobbs.
Certainly watched quite a bit of soccer during the summer games this year. I watched much more men's than women's. I only caught a couple of, a few minutes of a couple of the women's matches, but it's just always great to see really good soccer, right? I love to watch the World Cup when it gets down to the finals. Really watch high-quality soccer.
As Marquez will send it in, but it'll be Oregon Mountain who controls. They try and work in close to the goal. Hobbs drops back on D, and trying to get a shot away was Vasquez, and it'll bounce out. And over on the far side, Hobbs just trying to get it out of harm's way to regroup, and they will. It'll go out. So Oregon Mountain now trying to put on the pressure, trailing 1-0, 17:40 remaining here in the first half. Plus whatever stoppage time they put up.
Right. Shouldn't be too much. We've
usually isn't.
We've had a pretty clean first half so far.
Yeah, I would think
quick
maybe
moving.
a minute or so.
Yeah, not much. Minute or two.
And Oregon Mountain on the throw-in. Hobbs will take it away, and it comes back to one of the backside defenders. That's Lizalde. And back forward as Hobbs just going to, again, kick it out of harm's way. But that one going to bounce and go out at the corner. That one could be dangerous. It should be Oregon Mountain ball. And that'll give them a corner kick so they can put up a set play from there. And they will. So dangerous territory for the Hobbs Lady Eagles.
Sure, because this is the kind of thing that you practice over different formations, different possibilities.
And kicking it towards the middle, and a header that heads out and over. But a dangerous shot. I think that was Judd who got the head on it.
Luckily, all serious shots on goal by Oregon Mountain have gone high.
Yes, they have.
So far in this match.
Free kick away now for Marquez, the junior keeper for the Lady Eagles. She'll send the low line drive off from the A. We get back towards the midfield. Hobbs with one shot on goal, but it found the back of the net and not able to corral that one. It'll go back to the Lady Knights at center field. As taken away from a Lady Eagle, feeding it forward once again. That one going to go bouncing and it'll go out. And we'll come over to Hobbs for another throw in. 15 and a half remaining, first half. 1-0, Hobbs in the lead. Lady Eagles number 1 in the state, undefeated at 7-0. Oregon Mountain at 5-2 is ranked 10th right now in the Max Preps matrix. As both teams continue to, Oregon Mountain puts on a lot of pressure, but Hobbs' defense keeps them so far from getting any good looks at the net. And Hobbs very opportunistic. They said they've only had one look at the goal, but it went into the back of things, so you'll take that all day long. A 100 shot percentage. Not something you often see. Hobbs has had a little bit of trouble, though, breaking through the Oregon Mountain D.
Yeah, it's easy to see. It's a good reason why, Oregon Mountain is not allowing, very many goals. What he said, was
Yeah,
it
less
about
than a half,
less than a half.
About 0.4 goals,
Right.
something like that a game.
So, and you can definitely see why so far in this match.
As onto the near side, ball into the middle where Oregon Mountain will take it over with Fuentes, who will feed it forward. And the ball will just go bouncing out on the side. Where the sun is, I cannot really see anything right there over there.
They're going to bring it back to midfield and throw it in. Back in the field of play, midfield.
So, hurry up, son, go down.
Just back and forth, back and forth.
And the whistle sounds, minor infraction on Hobbs. So it'll be a free kick for Oregon Mountain from around midfield. 13 and a half minutes remaining here in this first half of play. Hobbs still with the 1-0 lead. Thanks for being with us on a warm September afternoon / evening here at Watson Stadium. And on the free kick, sending it down to around the 20-yard line, bouncing ball. Where Hobbs takes it and will just try and swat it out of Hobbs' way. Gets past an Oregon Mountain defender. Gets enough of a foot on it to feed it back, so Oregon Mountain will recollect and try for it again as Hobbs trying to put on a little pressure here out into the center of the pitch and then back to the middle. And then popped up. And takes a kind of a funny bounce and then into the Oregon Mountain bench. Battling on the inbound, and it'll go over to Hobbs.
Got a throw in.
And the throw in into the Organ Mountain side of things. Hobbs trying to get a run at it. And sweeping it over to the right wing. That was Rivera. Rivera to the deep right wing. Pretty good battle, good tight defense. Two Lady Knights over there. Then trying the centering pass was Davis, who has an assist. David was actually the intended target of the pass that wound up in the back of the net by Baker. As Hobbs will send it back deep, and Organ Mountain going to be content to let that one go out the end line and get a free kick. With 11:40 to go, first half of play. The first real pressure Hobbs has put on in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
As Organ Mountain will just send it off on the free kick. And then bouncing to the midfield. Hobbs' defense has done a nice job. When Organ Mountain, they've had a lot more time with a lot deeper penetration, but haven't managed to get any quality touches towards the net. And a long kick back down as the Lady Knights just going to swat it out near side. And back to Nash to toss in from around the 30-yard line.
Hobbs trying to
Bounces
organize
in and
another
over.
attack on the net.
Yes, they are. And good thought there. Just got it a little bit high. And it gets sent back down. Organ
Hobbs
Mountain
may
and
not be
Hobbs are
through
just,
it yet.
they're just volleying it back and forth at the moment. As Davis sweeps it over far side, then it'll come towards the middle and then off of the header. That's Baker moving in towards the goal and coming out of the goalie box. Dangerous move for Martinez. Not a shot because she was well out of the box, but decides to come in and just settle things down herself as we hit the 10-minute mark of the first half. So the long bouncing ball. Hobbs going to try and regroup, but intercepted by Organ Mountain. To the far side, and Hobbs just going to let that one roll out, and they'll regroup over on the far sideline.
Hobbs throwing it back in midfield.
Where Organ Mountain will take it away, then a bouncing ball. As Hobbs now with a nice interception from Davis. Then a bouncer deep into the Organ Mountain zone. Giving chase down there is Rivera. And then Davis takes it back. Then back over to the far side where it's just going to be swatted out by Judd. And so Hobbs' ball trying to put a little more pressure on as we get here late in this first half of play. Hobbs leading 1-0. The centering pass to Davis loses her footing. Now turns around, comes in, goes for the hard angle shot. It's a shot up by Davis that'll be knocked away. Second shot on goal for the Lady Eagles, and sending it out is Organ Mountain. But Hobbs with another great look. And now a bouncing ball. That could wind up being trouble as Soto trying to get the breakaway. Getting back in front of her is Amundsen. And then the ball will go out as Amundsen and Soto battling. And I think it'll be a corner kick maybe for the Lady Eagles. We'll have to see. It'll be a throw-in at least for the Lady Eagles. But they're setting up, and it will be a corner kick. And
Good
that's
opportunity.
Southeast corner.
Good opportunity for the Lady Eagles. They'd like to get an insurance goal here.
As Baker sends it towards the middle of the net, it is off of the hip of Rivera. And then a bouncer that'll go out the back line.
Yeah, I think it got deflected on its way up.
So Hobbs with some opportunities here late. Still just 2 shots on goal. They are very selective when they pull the trigger on net. As Las Cruces, Organ Mountain sends it back down with Amundsen. And then to the near side, Cruces looking for a little room. And that'll be Garcia. Garcia to the middle, gets it stolen away as Davis and Rivera both in the neighborhood. Cruces just sends a spinner down. And Hobbs going to stop that one before it goes out of the back. and into the hands of Marquez. Marquez will set it down on the second E in Eagles in the north end zone and send it to the near side. Bouncer over as she looks for Soto. Soto will just sweep it over. Now a foot race coming back down the near side with Rivera. Rivera to Baker. As Baker has a little room, she can think about a wide angle shot, takes it in, goes into the goal box, and off of her side of her foot and into the back of the net. Brianna Baker puts the Lady Eagles up 2-0. That one will come at the 33-10 mark of the first period, and Hobbs leads this one 2-0.
And that was all started by a good kick by the goalie. She targeted the cluster over here on the near side in order to try to get the Hobbs, the Lady Eagles, possession of that ball so they could organize that attack, and it worked. They just took it on in, and really nice work by the Hobbs Lady Eagles.
And the Lady Eagles, averaging 2 goals per game, are at their season average. You don't really feel all that comfortable. Cruces has some firepower. Oregon Mountain, still want to call them Oñate. Again, old habits die hard. They're averaging 3.5 goals per game right at.
Yeah, 2 goals today so far, not even halfway point. Both of them for Brianna Baker for Hobbs.
Baker had good positioning back there on two defenders and just bowled through.
She got a nice pass. There was some good ball handling there, good passing, really good organization, really nice work by the Lady
I don't
Eagles.
keep up with assists, but I think Rivera gets an assist on that one.
Yeah, it was nice.
And so throwing it in will be Dayan Nash, the senior defenseman, or defensewoman, I guess, in this case, for Hobbs. So on the throw-in from the near sideline, midfield. Tosses in, goes over everybody in the first line. And, yep, we're going to have a minor penalty called on Madeline Gonzalez, the sophomore forward. And so it'll be a free kick for Carmen Hernandez for Oregon Mountain. Or pardon me, that's Cedillo, number 7.
But it'll come from way downfield.
Yes, it will, and she'll send it down the pitch. And still playing around the midfield, now into the middle. Oregon Mountain trying to get something going. It'll be a foot race on the far sideline. Oregon Mountain trying to get to it, and we'll corral it. And trying and keeping it in on the far side. Centering pass, though, Hobbs will take it away and then just dribble it back out to midfield. 5 minutes remaining here in the first half of play. On a very difficult to see afternoon from here at Watson Stadium, 2-0.
As it goes out of bounds. Yep. Hobbs with a throw in, goes back to midfield.
Taking it up, Hobbs with another chance. They got 3 girls, now 4 girls back against 5 defenders.
Oregon Mountain saying, not so fast this time.
And now Nash will send a bouncer that'll go into the neighborhood of the goal, and Martinez will come out and get it. She was out of the box, no shot officially. And then back out to middle of the pitch. Oregon Mountain going to take it. Working through is Haley Justice, who checked in a little while ago.
Time winding down in this first period.
Yes, it is. Of course, we've still got 40 minutes plus stoppage time to play. And a bouncer down. Hobbs battles and a whistle. Minor penalty. I think that one will go against Oregon Mountain. It will. So a free kick for the Lady Eagles on the far side. .340 remaining here in this first half of action. Oregon Mountain will take it off the Hobbs free kick. And into the middle, looking for some running room, is going to be Fuentes. Coming back to the middle of the pitch. And swatted over into the far right wing. Taking it through, looking for an angle, centering pass, and misfiring, and then kicked out of the way by the Lady Eagles. They're going to be content to just let that one go. Soto comes over to try and save it.
Well,
that was the best penetration in a while. Turnbow with the centering kick and actually had a girl, but she kind of misfired off of the bottom of her boot.
Hobbs just doing what they could to quickly get that ball positioned outside of an immediate scoring threat.
2:40 remaining here in the first. Oregon Mountain ball, throw in deep in the Hobbs zone.
Hobbs would like to keep them from scoring.
Yes, they would, as that'll be Justice to throw it in. So Justice tossing it in towards the middle. Hobbs heading it away back to the sideline where Soto puts it off her head, but it comes out of bounds.
I mean, you always want to keep the other team from scoring, but as we get very close to halftime, Hobbs does not want to let Oregon Mountain get any momentum shifted their way and get a goal closer. This is a nice cushion that Hobbs has at 2-0. A lot of soccer left to play, though.
Yes, there is. As the throw-in goes into a whole bunch of Hobbs Lady Eagles. Now to Soto, who passes it back out and then back up. As we are at 1:50 remaining in regulation. In the first half, 2-0, Hobbs in the lead. Oregon Mountain tries to find a little room in the middle, as taking it up will be Vasquez.
Oh.
Vasquez centering pass, nobody home except a Lady Eagle defender, who will boot it right back out to the midfield. So Oregon Mountain going to try and regroup for another push. It's a bouncer, and off the side of the foot and out of the back. Misfiring on that one a little bit was Turnbow. So it'll go back to Hobbs with 1:18 remaining.
I think this
in the first.
Yeah, this close to the half, what Oregon Mountain is doing is they're just trying to say, you know, it's a percentages game. The more shots on goal you take, you know, the better the percentage. Something will happen, even if it's a lucky shot or a deflection, something. And so I think they're just trying to trying to get themselves into good offensive position and just take as many shots on, even if they're not great quality shots, just take as many shots on goal and keep it as close to the Hobbs goal as they can.
Hobbs has done a nice job clogging up their shooting lanes and not really giving them any open looks, even when they've been further out.
Yeah, good defense by Hobbs in this match. Very good.
Turnbow, a turnaround swipe to the middle, as that one will go off the foot and then be sent back into the midfield.
It hasn't been perfect. There have been some breakdowns, and that's allowed Oregon Mountain to penetrate a couple of times. But Hobbs, for the most part, doing just a really good job.
And the ball goes out the back line and over to Hobbs. We are in extra time now here in the first half.
Now I'd be surprised if it was more than a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
As Marquez to send it back in. As bouncing back to the midfield, Davis sweeps it forward and then over the head of a leaping Oregon Mountain player. Ball on the near side and out. As we are clicking towards 1 minute of extra time, Hobbs trying to go back onto the attack. Oregon Mountain will take it away, and they'll start it up the far side, trying to get a rush going. Hobbs doing a nice job closing things down. Now into the middle, centering pass. Then onto the left wing and out. As we have clicked past 1 minute of extra time. And it'll go back to the Hobbs Lady Eagles.
Midfield as they get it in. Going to control it.
And then Hobbs will just sweep it out into the Oregon Mountain bench.
I think at this point Hobbs is just trying to keep it away from them and keep them from taking any serious shot on goal, penetrate any deeper into the Hobbs zone.
Not a terrible plan, as a bouncing ball will go down deep and just not out, and Hobbs will have to save it out. So it'll be a corner kick for Oregon Mountain.
Can't be much longer.
We have hit the 90-second mark, a little more than 90 seconds in extra time. Hobbs still up 2-0, but Oregon Mountain with a corner kick. This may be the last act of the first half. Oregon Mountain will put it in the northwest corner for that kick. And sending it towards the middle and off of the head and back. Goes bouncing around, and that will end the first half of play as the Hobbs Lady Eagles leading this one by a score of 2-0. Both goals coming from Brianna Baker, one at the 13:22 mark of this first, the other at the 33-10 mark. Hobbs with 3 shots on goals, 2 of them coming from Baker, 1 from Davis. For Oregon Mountain, they've had 4 shots on the net. All of them have been stopped by Hobbs keeper, Sabrina Marquez. So a little bit of a break here. So as we prepare for the second half, we will take a timeout and come back in just a little while, get you ready for the second as Hobbs Lady Eagle Soccer continues from New Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports. Welcome back to Hobbs Lady Eagle Soccer from here at Watson Stadium. With Dawn Morgan, I'm TJ Miracle as we prepare to start the second half. The Hobbs Lady Eagles leading Oregon Mountains Lady Knights by a score of 2-0. Both tallies coming from Brianna Baker in that first half. Hobbs just taking 3 shots on goal, but 2 of the 3 finding the back of the net. Baker scoring at 13:22 of the first and then 33:10 in the first. So 40 minutes plus a little stoppage time to decide this one in a top 10 New Mexico 5A battle. The top-ranked Lady Eagles taking on the 10th-ranked Lady Knights. So we will flip ends of the field.
Yeah, I was about to say, and of course for this second half, Hobbs will move from the north goal to defending the south goal.
And it will be Oregon Mountain ball, I believe, to start the second half. Oregon Mountain had a lot of good penetration and a lot of good time deep in the Hobbs zone, but Hobbs' defense did a nice job taking away any shooting lanes that they might have had and did a nice job keeping them from getting any clean looks no matter what they did. If they can continue that in the second half, should be an Eagles victory. So Oregon Mountain will control and taking it up the far sideline and out and off of the foot of an Oregon Mountain player. So it'll be Nash on the far side. She will toss it in. Hobbs very selective when they decide to apply the pressure. They're content a lot of times just to try and hold things out around midfield and just burn the clock. When they get an opportunity, though, to break down and break away with one of their skill players, they will, as they will come near side to Gonzalez. Gonzalez makes a nifty little move, then feeds it into the middle, a centering pass. It'll go out by Oregon Mountain. Not sure why she didn't just take that herself. She had plenty of room to continue to run it in, and Brooke Davis playing trailer in the center. As that one comes in to Gonzalez and then swatted out by Oregon Mountain. That's Floyd. So Hobbs to throw it in once again. Yes, it'll come out around the 10-yard mark where Hobbs will take it over, and then a bouncer towards the net, and reaching up and grabbing that one will be the Oregon Mountain keeper. 4th shot on goal for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. And back to Oregon Mountain. 2-0 to score, and we are just underway here in the second half. Hobbs in the lead. As the sun finally, mercifully, starts going down on the western horizon. Out of the eyes a little bit. As now Rivera tries the centering pass, but it'll be stolen away by Cruces. Cruces back out into the middle of the field, taking it over to Vasquez. Vasquez trying to split 2 Lady Eagles. Hobbs cuts her off. Taking it away from her is Jimenez.
Really nice defensive work. Good footwork there. Ooh.
2 minutes gone here in the second. Hobbs with the 2-0 lead. And Las Cruces trying to cut into that, as coming well out of her cage is Sabrina Marquez. She'll just take that one and then send it back to the midfield. At some point, Las Cruces is going to have to start pushing. I don't know when that point is. Probably not for another 10, 12 minutes, but they might have to think about bringing an extra attacker up for extra pressure when they move into deep into Hobbs territory.
And I think they're definitely going to have to do that because Hobbs' defense is so strong that they're having trouble, really mounting anything serious past Hobbs' stalwart defense. So it's going to take maybe trying to spread the field out and thin them out just a little bit with more attackers.
And a minor infraction called, so on Oregon Mountain it'll be Hobbs with the free kick on the far sideline. Is sending it deep into the Oregon Mountain zone. A bouncer heading towards the keeper, who will bounce up and take that one. That is Martinez. A long bouncing kick, easy stop, no shot, as he was out of the box. He's coming out and corralling that one out of the inner box, I guess we could say. No danger of it going in, really. As now it'll be Judd who tries to send it to the middle, and then Hobbs will take it away. Sending it off of the foot. Hobbs looking for a little room to run. Gonzalez misplays it a little bit and will have to send it to the far sideline. Now Hobbs will regroup. Trying to get Gonzalez. I think a little bit of a miscommunication there. I think the passer thought Gonzalez was just going to keep coming up the sideline, and she turned it in a little bit.
And thankfully, officially, the sun is down below the horizon now.
Yay.
So we don't have the sunspots in the camera.
Or in our eyes, more
Right,
importantly.
that's true. So you can.
The camera can be replaced. Our eyeballs cannot.
Yes, but whether we can see, the camera is the eye for those watching the match. So.
Of course, I've been accused over the years of never having actually seen a game I was calling, regardless of the sport. So, and no, that is not a lie. That is a truthful statement. As the two teams just continue to kind of battle it back and forth, it'll be a throw-in for Oregon Mountain on the far sideline.
Well, it could be worse. You could be a referee being accused of that. See, you're not.
That's true. I would not want to be an official. I respect and like all those guys, and they have a very tough job. And yes, I'm tough on them sometimes too, but they have a tough job, and I've always said the same. There's a reason I'm up here. I like being up here. Wouldn't want to be a coach or an official. No, thank you.
But it's good that we have people who want to do fill all those various slots so that we can continue to have high school sports.
Yes, it is, and there is not nearly enough officials in any sport right now. Or you see a lot of games getting canceled or moved to odd times just because that's when they can get officials for it. Prime example is Tatum. I believe that they're having to play on Thursday night in Fort Sumner because there's no Friday night officials available or Saturday afternoon.
For football.
For football.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be Thursday night, Tatum Sports YouTube channel. Dusty Wyndham will have that for you. And it'll be Oregon Mountain ball. We played 6 minutes into this second half. Hobbs contesting the inbound, and they'll take it. And then a ball that is swatted down towards the goal off of the side of the foot there of Hernandez. Got past. She was trying to get a streaking attacker, but just out of the foot reach. And, yep, we will have a bump foul call. I think they're going to call that one probably on Amundsen. It'll go to Hobbs. And a free kick from the 40-yard mark for the Lady Eagles. We'll see who's going to toe that one up as we will have a set play. Hobbs is bringing everybody up. Oregon Mountain not bringing everybody back, and that's a bouncer that'll find its way through as Martinez going to have to come out of the cage to get that one. And will. And then send it back out. Kind of a little pooch punt almost off the side of her foot. As Oregon Mountain trying to find some attack, trailing 2-0, 33 minutes remaining in regulation. Hobbs putting 2 goals up in the first. Oregon Mountain trying to answer here in the second. As a long distance shot put in, but easily saved by the Hobbs keeper. 5th shot of the evening for Oregon Mountain. I'll try and catch that young lady's number, as that was Fuentes who sent the shot down. And Oregon Mountain will go back on the attack. And it will be a free kick from midfield. It's down to around the 20. Collision down there, and Hobbs will take it and just send it out on the far side. And again, Hobbs dropping everybody back in defense. They're not leaving any bird dogs or any trailers out. They're not taking any chances. They're putting 11, all 11 back to defend. As that one will squirt through and out the back line. And it'll be a free kick for Hobbs. As we reach the 9 minutes played mark of the second half, Hobbs still up 2-0. Pardon me. With Dawn Morgan, I'm TJ Miracle. Evie Stuber keeping an eye and an ear on things tonight. For us back at One Radio Square. And on the free kick, Oregon Mountain tries to push it through. Hobbs temporarily takes it away. And we'll send it back up. Now Hobbs gets it to the midfield and then out off the foot of one of the Lady Knights. So it'll be a throw-in midfield for Hobbs.
Whistle sounds
we had a whistle
again.
sound, so we have a minor penalty, and so it'll wind up being a throw-in for Oregon Mountain. And, ooh, a little bouncer that gets away.
Yeah,
and
on the
right back
attack.
onto the foot, and so onto the attack. But Hobbs just clogs up the lane and swats it out of harm's way. And will come back and just boot it back down and out at the midfield. 10 minutes have expired here in the second half. Hobbs with a 2-0 lead.
A fourth of the way through this second and last half.
Unless we get an overtime.
Well, that's true.
It could happen.
That's true.
Did against Las Cruces High the other day.
Right.
Hobbs winning that one 2-1. And a minor penalty called on the Lady Eagles.
Lady Eagles just can't afford to relax their defense. They've played so well.
And a bouncing ball that'll be kicked away by the Lady Eagles. Las Cruces still has not brought up the extra attacker as of yet. And another whistle, that one out. It'll be Hobbs' ball on the throw-in. So Hobbs' ball on the throw-in from deep in their own end. Onto the VAR side, trying to send it out towards the far hash mark. Hobbs looking for a little running room, but Las Cruces. Oregon Mountain will block it up and then send it back to Fuentes in midfield. Hobbs, though, picks the pocket from behind and will send a bouncer near side. He'll send Edmondson back to try and corral it, and she does, but not well enough as it goes out. Pardon me, that was Floyd. So the throw in for Hobbs, and then it gets away from Floyd and towards the middle of the field, but an Oregon Mountain defender back there. Who's working through it is Garcia. And the bouncer to Garcia, blocked out and screened out by a Lady Eagle, who will then send it right back as Fuentes will boot it onto the far sideline. 3-on-3 break for the Lady Knights, sending it into the middle, but Hobbs is there once again to clog things up and then send it into the Lady Knight bench. 12 minutes expired here in the second half. Hobbs with the 2-0 lead as a sub will check in for the Lady Knights. Lady Knights wearing the white kit with the turquoise letters and numbers. Hobbs wearing the home black kit with the white letters and numbers and the gold trim. So into the midfield for the Lady Eagles, trying to settle things down, maybe trying to go onto the attack a little bit here. Feeding it onto the far left wing, coming through and swatted away before Davis can do much with it. Then a battle on the far sideline, and Oregon Mountain will win that one and send it back into the Hobbs end, but nobody back there to do anything with it. So now Hobbs will battle on the far side. Sending it through, but out before that player can get it away. So side out, throw in for Hobbs. As we look at 27 minutes remaining, plus stoppage time in regulation. Hobbs on the throw-in. Oregon Mountain trying to go onto the attack, leading, or trailing, I should say, 2-0. Coming to the near side. Hobbs just going to swat it away back to the midfield. Again, Oregon Mountain has not started bringing up an extra attacker as of yet. Might ought to think about it, because Hobbs, even though Oregon Mountain has gotten penetration, is just clogging up all of their lanes, as Hobbs will drop back 10 in defense this time, as it'll come back and go out and last touched by Hobbs. And I think just a little bit of a mental mistake by Hernandez on the near side, as instead of letting it go out or control it before it did go out, she kind of hesitated a little bit and got the worst of both worlds with a deep throw in for the Lady Knights.
Hobbs midfielders and backfielders have been doing a really good job of anticipating, seeing where Oregon Mountain is headed with the balls, and getting there and getting organized to deny them, open lanes to be able to.
Falcone sends it in, and then a bender of a shot put up towards the net by Judd. Didn't come anywhere close to the net, so Judd put some spin on that one.
Definitely had an opportunity. If she had another girl there to be able to either head that in or off, to be able to help her, could have been a more serious attack on goal. Definitely.
Yeah, it was tailing away from the goal, but it was bending pretty good. And on the Hobbs throw in, Oregon Mountain gets it right back, sends it into the middle of the pitch where Hobbs will take it and turn it over. And
dangerous.
It is a very dangerous one that'll be saved.
Yeah, it's kind of a
by Marquez.
A missed kick, trying to kick it away from goal, and instead just kind of send it back into that to the zone there.
Almost an
cage.
own goal.
Yeah. So Hobbs doing a good job, kind of getting out of danger in that one. Now going on the attack more.
And the ball will go out. 25 minutes to go in regulation plus stoppage.
So more than halfway through this second half now.
Not quite half, but getting
almost
there. As Oregon Mountain and Hobbs continuing just around midfield. And the ball will go out on the far side. Back to Oregon Mountain on the throw-in. Again, now some subs checking in for the Lady Knights. And the sun now almost completely down.
Yep.
Which means the oven that is the press box here might start cooling off a little.
Field lights are on. And another throw in by Hobbs into midfield. It's going to be deflected by Oregon Mountain. Fight for it.
Into the middle of the field and just popped back. A dangerous bouncer as Oregon Mountain goes back to try and corral it. And Hobbs will get there, but Oregon Mountain touches it last. So to throw it in will be Alessandra Terrazas, who just checked in. Terrazas throws it into the middle of the field, finds the foot of Davis, but it'll be bodied off. She'll be bodied off there.
Yeah, that was actually a nice block and a little interference on that pass there by Oregon Mountain.
So Oregon Mountain going to try and take it up the far sideline, contested over there, but the ball will find a little soft spot in the Hobbs zone. And then a long bouncer put in, and coming out of the cage and grabbing that one is Sabrina Marquez. And that was Cedillo over there who put that one on goal. 7 shots for Oregon Mountain, just 4 for Hobbs, but half of Hobbs' shots have found the back of the net. Now Hobbs up the far left wing. Looking for some room, taking it into the middle, but nobody home, but it'll find its way through until it doesn't. And then off the back of an Oregon Mountain player, Hobbs trying to get a little offense going to the right wing. Thinking about it and losing the ball as Terrazas, got it taken away. And now we're back out to the midfield where Judd battles and taken away by the Eagles. And Terrazas will shoot it backwards and then trying to get it back. And then a long shot in onto the foot of one of the Lady Eagles, as that was Rivera. And then a bouncer into the middle. But Hobbs will take it away in the attacking zone from the left wing. A little squibber, and that one will be saved by Martinez.
Diving to her right. She had time. That ball was rolling a little slower. Had it been traveling a little faster, she might not have been able to get it to it in time.
First shot on goal by Rivera comes with 22 minutes remaining in regulation. Now Oregon Mountain coming back on the attack, and Hobbs sends it back towards its own goal. Martinez going to come out and settle things down, and now she'll boot it away. Back to the midfield. Bounces over the Lady Eagles and into Lady Knight territory.
You can feel the pace of this match pick up on both sides here as we tick toward the halfway point of this second half. And, of course, both teams, Hobbs really just wanting to keep Oregon Mountain from scoring it all. They've got a nice 2-0 cushion, but Oregon Mountain going a little bit more on the attack here, picking up the pace.
And a bouncer that's going to come in on net and taken by Martinez, who will then just pop it up. Martinez has not had to face an awful lot of shots tonight, just 5 for the Lady Eagles.
Of course, all it takes is one letting that through, and 2 would tie it up.
As Davis will take it into the middle of the field, looks, sends it on net, and just wide as that one is tipped by Martinez. Davis, her 3rd shot on goal, and Martinez saves that one by the skin of her teeth, gets the tip of the goalie gloves on it.
Yeah, and Brooke Davis has also scored for Hobbs this season, and playing a nice game on offense as well. So another talented.
As the ball goes bounding out, now it's coming back in. Hobbs on the attack, going to try and add to a 2-0 lead. So we hit the halfway mark of this second period. From the left wing, put in, and that one will be knocked down. And Oregon Mountain going to have to swat it out of Hobbs' way. Hobbs all of a sudden with an offensive flurry as Baker puts up another shot on goal and saved, and then goes out.
Davis listed as a midfielder, and she's not one of the strikers for Hobbs primarily, but she can certainly get in there and fight for position when she's got it. She's not shy about taking a shot on goal.
No, she is not.
But of course, Baker and
Baker and Rivera
certainly.
Into the center of the pitch, sent away by Las Cruces, trying to get it out of harm's way. Hobbs smelling a little bit of blood in the water. Las Cruces trying to find a way to get it out. The best way to do that is to go back on the attack. They'll feed it into the middle where Hobbs' defense, which has played very, very good tonight, sweeps it away, and then a bouncer right up the middle of the pitch. It'll be a foot race. I think Oregon Mountain going to get back to it. And they will, and they'll just save it off, and then it will go out. Good pressure being applied on the backside.
Yeah, definitely
a
nice.
Forecheck, if this were hockey, by Natalie Silva.
Nice footwork there. Yeah, good defense.
So Oregon Mountain tries to clear it out of their own zone as that one goes bouncing into the middle of the pitch. And then down, Hobbs will just take it. Going to be content to just kind of drop back and save a little energy for the moment, looks like. Las Cruces, Oregon Mountain expends some more. Oregon Mountain is just kind of a mouthful. I understand why they changed the name, but as Hobbs will send it to the near sideline and out. With 18 and a half minutes remaining in regulation plus stoppage time, as Justice will send it in and sends it right in amongst 4 or 5 Lady Eagles. But she'll come over and take it herself, then give it to Fuentes, who will send a bouncer from a long way out, and was not on goal, but coming out to corral it is Marquez, as Hobbs will start it back the other way. Go to Justice in the middle of the field, sweeps it back. As Hobbs going to start passing it around, trying to anyways. Davis looks for some room through pressure, gets some, finds one of the Lady Eagles taking it up. Now feeding it to the far left wing, pass intercepted, and it'll be saved before it goes out. You can see what Hobbs is doing. They want to put the pressure on the wings and then bring it back towards the middle. Now they'll throw it in on that left side. Comes in and a whistle sounds. We'll have a minor infraction called on Hobbs. It'll be a free kick from deep within their own zone for the Lady Knights. As Hobbs takes it back, sends the bouncing ball inside the 10-yard mark, where Triste Martinez will come and collect it and then send it back away. Hobbs attacking to the north goal. Left to right on your radio dial and your video screen. Hobbs with the centering pass, trying to get it into Davis. It'll wind up on the foot right in the middle, and if Rivera is able to pull the trigger on that, she has a wonderful shot at getting it into the back of the net.
As it was, Las Cruces
just couldn't quite settle it down quick enough.
And Las Cruces was right there, able to get there before Hobbs could get control of that.
But Hobbs continuing to place a little more pressure on. Now taking it up the far left sideline.
Nice dribbling.
Looking
nice
for
dribbling.
it is Rivera. Does she try the centering pass? Well, I think she thought about it before she got tangled up with one of the Lady Knights. And the Lady Knights will take it back as Justice will battle on the near side with Jimenez and then sends it back out. I was going to say center court. Wrong sport. Out to the midfield stripe, and then a long bouncer put in by Rivera. That'll be stopped. Now the Lady Eagles leading in the shot category 8-7 and leading in the scoring category 2-0. They'd like to get another one on the board, I would think.
They'd like to, but I think they're busy keeping. They're busy now keeping Las Cruces' defense so busy that Cruces can't think about organizing offense and moving back down the field.
And Cruces is going to send in, Oregon Mountain going to send in some reinforcements here as they're putting some subs in, as Hobbs has been running them pretty good the last 5-6 minutes.
You bet. And of course, soccer is a game of conditioning.
Makes me tired just watching.
But you want to try to get fresh legs in.
When you can.
That's right.
Of course, in high school, you can come out more than once in the pro game. And in the national teams, you cannot. Once you're out, you're out. You have to be very careful with those substitutions.
Back to midfield and a penalty. A minor infraction. It's going to be called on Las Cruces, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was just an out.
Oh, okay,
so a throw
just
in
an
for
out.
Hobbs.
Okay.
Thank you for covering while
Sure.
I wet the whistle a little bit. Another thing about soccer is you never shut up. People say I never should. They say that too. I never shut up anyway. But
well, the ball is always moving. It may not always feel to people who maybe don't love soccer or don't watch it a lot. It may feel like there's nothing going on the field, but the ball never stops, almost never stops, and neither do the legs, the people. So it is definitely, it is just, you have to be really well conditioned to play. Gotta have a lot of aerobic conditioning, and you just
a lot of cardio.
A lot of cardio, but man, you've got to have legs of iron and just be able to be Energizer bunnies and keep going and going and going.
You do have to be tough to play soccer, I will say that. They call it the beautiful game, but it is not always a game of finesse. As you have tackles and bodies colliding and no padding other than maybe shin guards.
It's a very deceptively. It's a more physical game than you realize. When you're just watching it, it's tough.
As Hobbs will take it, is coming up the near sideline is Terrazas looking for some room, and she is cut off and blocked out as Floyd will swat it away. So Terrazas from the near sideline deep inside the territory of the Lady Knights, sending it towards the middle of the field. Hobbs looking for a little room to work. Comes back out midfield, be bodied off by a Lady Eagle, but then just pushed off of it and taken away by Oregon Mountain and back to the midfield where Hobbs' defense will come up and just swat it back in.
Hobbs' plan is, it's not to necessarily make it pretty, but just to keep this ball in this end of the field right now, from now on to the end of this match.
Well,
they want to try to deny Las Cruces any more shots on goal.
Yeah, they would like to get the shot out, and I did have a coach, and I think this applies in any sport. It was for football a long time ago. It said, TJ, you know what the difference between an ugly win and a pretty win is? And I said, no, coach. No, sir, I don't. He goes, there is no difference. You still won.
That's right.
As long as you win, that's the important thing. Pretty, ugly, or otherwise.
Nope. Of course, ugly can sometimes mean things devolve, into.
That is true.
And that's not the kind of ugly that you want to see, or a way that you want to win. So.
No, and this has not been an ugly game.
Not
We're
at all.
Saying that. It's
no,
just
not at all. It's
sometimes when the stream
clean.
of consciousness goes through, we just kind of go where it takes us.
So, no, it's been a pretty clean game, and
no yellow cards, no red cards,
no.
Just a few minor penalties that don't really amount to much.
Some bumping and grinding, some offsides, some
bumping and banging, a few tackles,
some pushing.
The Ludington game against the Hobbs boys last week. We did see a couple of yellow cards issued in that one. And then some again in Lovington and Clovis's boys game too. This one a much cleaner affair here tonight as we hit the 11-minute mark remaining. Hobbs up 2-0. As Alton Hobbs will maintain possession.
You may see things get a lot more physical and a little uglier as, with being down 2 goals now and, about 10 minutes left to score, not once but twice. Las Cruces is going to get awfully aggressive, I think.
And a little turnaround swat by Rivera goes wide right of the net and out. Still a free ball for Oregon Mountain.
Yeah, and when I say Las Cruces, a lot of times that's shorthand for Las Cruces High. I don't mean that as a shorthand for Las Cruces. I know it's Oregon Mountain. It's just sometimes it is easier instead of getting it wrong, saying on Yate to just say Las Cruces instead of Oregon Mountain. So either way, it works.
You said they've been Oregon Mountain for 5 years now, and I still have trouble with it. My late grandmother didn't know they built a high school out there. I said, "Oh, I'm going to Las Cruces." "Oh, who are you calling?" And I told her, and she goes, "What? Where's that?"
Of course,
she was a Las Cruces High graduate,
right?
And she refused to add the W to their mascot.
Wasn't she actually? Was she born and lived with the ranch in Mesilla or more?
It was right outside of Mesilla.
Right outside of Mesilla. Okay.
Yeah, it was right outside of Mesilla.
It's a beautiful area, beautiful place, and we certainly see our share of it during sports season.
Yes, we do.
And outside of it as we make our way down and around toward the mountains and from Cloudcroft, Alamogordo down to Las Cruces sometimes. So.
Well, Posta and Mesilla is a wonderful place to eat if you're.
It is.
The Double Eagle Steakhouse is good too.
Very good. Both of them.
Can't afford the Double Eagle more than about once a decade, but take out a second mortgage if you're going. But it's very good. Enough about food options in the Las Cruces area. Back to the pitch here where Hobbs leads 2-0 with 9 minutes remaining plus stoppage time. Hobbs has been in control now with a little pressure on the right wing, trying to send it into the middle. As Terrazas gets it now, she'll send that one a weak roller towards the middle. That will be a shot officially, because it did get inside the box where Martinez stopped it. But good pressure there for Terrazas, the sophomore forward.
Got to see more of that as we tick down toward the end of this match.
Again, I'm a little bit surprised that, got a tackle in the midfield, maybe a bit of a soccer flop there.
Any time on the ground is a good time. It's a rest.
She didn't stay down long, though.
No,
It was now coming up the right wing. Las Cruces sending a long shot in as Oregon Mountain will send that one wide on the far side with, that was Vasquez again. 8 minutes and a double whistle sounds. Should be Hobbs' ball.
Yeah, the only time that you don't want to be on the ground is if you're injured. But, a little rest here and there. That's why you see an awful lot of soccer flops in the pro ranks, particularly. They look like they're going to die, and then after about 2 minutes on the ground, a little rest, and they pop up. They're just fine.
They're fine.
They're okay.
So on the free kick in comes back to the Lady Eagles, leading 2-0. 7.5 minutes remaining plus stoppage time, and out off of the foot of one of the Lady Knights.
Hobbs really doing a nice job of setting the tone, the pace, really controlling this game from the very, very beginning and being consistent all the way through this. It's been well played offensively and defensively for Hobbs. Of course,
and it's been played pretty well defensively, too, for
I was
Oregon
going
Mountain.
to say, by Oregon Mountain, they've been doing a pretty good job. They just have lacked the firepower and accuracy to be able to, get a goal or two in at least up until this point. There's still plenty of time left. It's just under 7 minutes now plus stoppage.
And we will have a minor penalty call. It'll be on Oregon Mountain. It'll be a free kick from the 20-yard line, the 30-yard mark on the pitch. So Hobbs will send it away back down towards the Oregon Mountain side of things.
Of course, you always want to try to take care of business during regulation because, when you get into situations where it's or you got penalty kicks, or at the end when it's going to be decided by kicks. That's
anything can happen when you get
exactly
some weird bounces going.
you do. So
You get a little tired, get some strange bounces.
And a 2-0 advantage, it can evaporate just like that. So Hobbs, of course, can't afford to let down. They've got to really finish this one, finish it out.
Yes, they do. And if you don't think, that it can go away that quickly, in the Lovington boys game on Saturday, Lovington scored 2 goals in about 2.5 minutes. I'd have to go back and look at my notes on that. But so a team can get right back in it real fast if they get the ball to bounce their way. Hobbs' defense trying to keep that from happening. As Oregon Mountain going to be content just to send it away with 5.5 minutes remaining in regulation plus stoppage time. As the Lady Eagles going to knock that one down and out. Another throw in for the Lady Knights. And then just sent down a bouncer on the far sideline. Now a center and pass. Oregon Mountain trying to find a little room to move. Feeding it through. Nobody able to come over and get it. Fuentes on the run, but could not get there in time. And a little bit dangerous for Marquez to come out that far with an Oregon Mountain player charging, but it worked out that time as that one will go out off of the Lady Eagle. Under 5 minutes to play, 2-0. Hobbs in the lead, trying to improve 8-0 on the season. Drop Oregon Mountain to 5-3. Something tells me we might wind up seeing this Oregon Mountain team again somewhere down the road. Both our 5A teams in the playoffs will be here before you know it.
I believe it was a match against Oregon Mountain that I called last year in the first round of the playoffs, maybe?
Maybe.
Seems like it. I'm not sure.
Sometimes they all run together. And sometimes all the sports run together. And it's like, wait a minute, aren't
especially, you get to 6 months to a year ago, and all bets are off as far as my memory goes.
All bets are off as to what I had for breakfast this morning, much less what else is happening. Still on the free kick in, Hobbs will take it away from the Lady Knights. Feeding it up the left wing, looking for a little room. That one will squirt through. And Oregon Mountain will try and take it back, and they're going to try and just squat it out. Get it out of harm's way. Hobbs would like to get one more insurance tally up on the board. 2-0. You feel pretty comfortable with, but you'd like a 3-0 advantage much better. To the right side, now sending it back into the middle. Davis looking for some room, tries to go through traffic, steps back, puts one in, and stopped by Martinez. 10th shot for the Lady Eagles. That is the 4th shot for Brooke Davis. So she's been the one keeping Triste Martinez the busiest back there in the cage. As Hobbs bringing it up again, putting on the pressure. Into the middle, Terrazas with the bouncer. That one comes in. That one will be stopped. Her second shot is having to lay out is Triste Martinez to get that one. 2:50 to go in regulation.
And again, the more seconds and minutes that Hobbs can possess the ball and take shots on goal, that's time that Oregon Mountain is not taking shots on Hobbs goals. So Lady Eagles doing their best to control the ball here.
And it looks like Oregon Mountain is going to maybe think about sending an extra attacker up this time. They've been leaving 3 defensemen back, but let's see if they're going to do that again as Hobbs immediately just takes it away and swats it away. Got a 2-on-2 break.
Oh.
This could be trouble if Oregon Mountain doesn't get to it. Oregon Mountain's 2 defenders get back in time to take it away. As now it'll be Natalie Perez who sends it. Tries the centering pass and a whistle blows. And a minor infraction called on Hobbs with 2 minutes remaining in regulation. 2 minutes left in regulation. And another whistle sounds. As they're pointing at Brooke Davis. I think maybe some blood as she's going to head over to the sideline.
Yeah, probably got nicked or something.
Yeah, I mean,
in a collision.
Tangled up with somebody.
Easy, hands and fingernails fly, and Sometimes you just, and sometimes feet come up too.
That's
feet
true.
and cleats, and you end up, a lot of times at the end of a match, you as a player, you look down and you think, wow, when did all this happen? In the heat of the battle, you're not thinking or worrying about it at all.
And now they will roll the clock. And so Morgan Mountain going on the attack, trailing 2-0. We are inching closer to stoppage time. Morgan Mountain on the attack, deep in the Hobbs zone, taking it to the near sideline, looking for some room to run, trying to weave through, and Hobbs again cuts off the shooting lane, and then we'll send it back out. Time for Hobbs to take a breather.
Nice
That
block.
one will sit down,
Yeah.
and then shot back out to the midfield. 1 minute remaining in regulation, by my watch anyway, because they always stop the clock around 2 minutes. So Hobbs will just send it out into the deep zone, kind of into no woman's land, as that one will go out and back over to the Lady Knights, who will send it in deep in their own zone as we click towards the end of regulation and into stoppage time. And
That
out
one
on the
pops
track.
right back out, but
Yes, it does.
off of a Hobbs player there.
So tossing it in will be Perez. And Hobbs tries to take it away. And sent back deep into the Hobbs defensive zone, where Hobbs will just pop it out and pop it out. And we are into extra time now by my calculation. Again, don't count on my calculation at all. The Las Cruces is going to have to try and net two with not a lot of time. My guess is maybe a minute and a half of extra.
Hobbs is just going to try to kick the ball away and try to block any penetration by Morgan Mountain.
Yeah, just hold it in the midfield,
There they
let
are,
it keep
just-
away,
that's
and
right, just
that
trying
will
to-
do it, as we had 1
Wow.
minute of extra, less than a minute of extra time, and the Hobbs Lady Eagles victorious 2-0 over the Morgan Mountain Lady Knights. They will improve to 8-0 on the season. Morgan Mountain will drop to 5-3. Both Hobbs tallies coming in the first half at 13-32 and then 33-10 by Brianna Baker. And those were the difference makers for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. And great defense tonight for Hobbs on, and they got the offense when they needed it.
They certainly did, and the glow, it's a beautiful sunset and just a nice, the glow is still evident, and very nice job by Hobbs tonight, just in control from the very first kick, and good to see them play with such confidence and such consistency throughout the match. I'm sure Coach Diaz is very happy about that, and of course it's another good win for them as they keep their season perfect, and they will remain, I'm sure, number one in 5A soccer in the state of New Mexico. So great season going on. It's been nice to be up here and to call this one our first chance at calling the Hobbs girls soccer this season.
It has been, and 2-0 the final. Hobbs Lady Eagles victorious. Next up on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel, the Hobbs boys football team on Friday night against El Paso Parkland. Ty and Ron will have that for you. Next up for Dawn and myself, we'll be in Lovington on Friday night for the Wildcats and the Coyotes. And, well, just keep an eye on our Facebook pages and your team's YouTube channels for all of the latest that we do. We get to all of them that we can. So big thanks to all the sponsors. Big thanks to Evie keeping an eye and an ear on things. For Don Morgan, I'm TJ Miracle saying so long. This has been an exclusive presentation of the Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports. Good night, everybody.